He's feeling good. He said he prepared as much as he could, and now it's just time to do his absolute best. Speaking of the man. In the bottom left side of Jagannatha, we are looking at the main base of the biggest of Gabriels out there, hailing from Germany. Cologne, it is HeRoMaRinE.
And spawning over in the northeasternly side, new member of Africa Freaks, it is Trap. I've actually thoroughly enjoyed watching Big Gabe stream recently, and you know, whenever it leads up to a tournament, he's always talking about, oh yeah, I'm not really going to show like my tournament strategies and stuff, and he's been doing that for the last few weeks now, and he's been streaming a heck load and still winning, you know, the Big Gabe weeklies and stuff, so I'm excited to see what he actually brings to the table here.
I honestly think it's very, very important for Gabe to take control of this series from early on. Like, I believe that Gabe can take out Trap, and I know that's maybe a bit of a stretch, and obviously Gabe is the underdog here, but I do believe that if HeRoMaRinE brings his A+ game and is as sharp as ever, I think he has the skills to take out Trap. But what is very important is that he doesn't fall behind in any of these games. Trap falling behind, I wouldn't be too worried if you're on Team Trap, because we know that he can bring it back, right? A couple great storms, a couple run-bys with some Zelos, a little bit of Prism Micro, who knows? And you know that he can always claw victory of the Jaws of Defeat. For Gabe, I think it's important to have super clean early games, very clean early mid games, and then it could maybe go his way. But yeah, if he starts falling behind Ben, I think it's all over.
I'm totally with you, and like within regards to Protoss players that he can go up against, like I think Trap is a little bit more comfortable for Gabe than say going up against like a Parting or something. Even though I think Trap is better than Parting, I think stylistically he's not necessarily the guy that's just going to throw you off your game like a Parting or a Zest possibly could. So yeah, I do believe that Gabe, like, this is absolutely a possibility for him. And if you look at his ladder stats recently on any one of his 5 accounts that's in top 10 GM on Europe
17
right now,
accounts, Ben. 17,
my bad. But he has like 80% games against Protoss. So, and he ladders all the frickin' time. So he is absolutely more than prepared, or at least should be, for going up against these top level Protosses in this group.
Yeah, I like what you say there, and it sounds silly, right? But it's like Trap could be better than Parting, but still it's better for Gabe to go up against Trap. I think you make an excellent point. Most of the time, Trap is going to kind of allow the Terran players to execute whatever they want to do, just because he's so damn good and confident that he can still deal with it. Anyway, we can talk a little bit about these openings. It's a Reaper fast expand for Gabe. He's playing this very careful, by the way. He doesn't want to deal with any adepts in the back of his natural, you know, maybe picking up one of the first SCVs. They were trying to build that command center. That's not happening. This is actually not that bad though, right? Because these two adepts are spending a lot of time chasing a Reaper and they're not gonna get it. HeRoMaRinE with the moves. I'm pretty sure I've seen moves like that in Krefeld once upon a time. Good start.
Yeah, certainly have. That was a good night for Gabe as well. But yeah, that was actually very important, because getting that Reaper across the map is absolutely what he wants to do. And these two adepts now, like as you said, he bought enough time for his third, or rather his second and third Marine to get out to assist this Hellion. And here we see this Reaper's getting a bit of a scout off here, which is actually a huge deal for Big Gabe. Yep.
I don't think he saw the Twilight Council yet. I don't know if he's gonna hop into the main base. Whoa, what? He just walked past both adepts and somehow only ate one shot. I don't know how that happened, but or maybe ate both shots, and I guess 2 shots and the Stalker shot was not enough. Now Trap is going up to 4 gateways, Ben. This is a little similar to what we see Parting do very often. Jagannatha obviously not a bad map, right, for this opening. There is a little bit of a ledge to work with in the main base for these Stalkers to shine and be proper annoying.
Yeah, definitely, and this kind of goes against what we were saying earlier, right? Like, going up against Trap, it's going to be a little bit more comfortable than going up against like a Parting and stuff, but if Trap is to do something that Parting would do, like that's just a wrench in the works straight away. I'm not super duper worried for Gabe, because I think he is a smart player and he's getting good scouting info, right? Like, he's going to see that a third isn't going up super duper early.
Yep.
That being said, the Raven, like getting that Raven instead of the tank production, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and we don't really have a bunker in the main base either. We are going to get a second bunker. It's obviously important to keep these bunkers alive. Let's see what the Widowmine drop can do, right? I think Gabe should know that these Stalkers are heading towards the other side of the map. Mapu. All right, seemed like that HeRoMaRinE had to settle for just a single probe, but there's a little bit of lost mining time on the side of Trap. This is a big moment in this game already. Let's see what Trap can accomplish with his first blink. I wouldn't mind an auto turret to go down immediately, right? Just to keep those Marines alive and keep those Stalkers at bay.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I mean, Gabe knows what's up now. Is he going to pull SCVs to deal with this? Oh, that Warp Prism immediately takes quite a bit of damage there. I mean, I know it's only shield and stuff, but forced him onto the low ground assault, which is against 2 bunkers. And honestly, I think Gabe is actually, yeah, he's preparing very well for this. Oh, the Raven, though, the Raven.
It lives too, so the Raven lives. The first auto turret bought enough time for the tank to get out. We have 2 bunkers in the natural. I don't know if that medevac is still active. Maybe it tried. We have a forward blink. First bunker does go down immediately, but we should be able to repair the second bunker. That's a lot of SCVs. It's also a lot of Stalkers, but repair is pretty damn good. Sure, a lot of lost mining time, but that's pretty much always going to happen against the opening the Trap is going for. Don't fly your medevac like that. Oh no, that's just... okay, he gets away with it, but that's a bit sloppy by Gabe.
It certainly is, but did slow down this medevac, or rather this Warp Prism a little bit. Wow, a Banshee of all things? I guess he just wanted a unit out very quickly to help deal with this, because you can't really blink into that number of Marines, even if they don't have stim yet. And the +1 for Big Gabe, it's going to be done real soon, and the third's only just started for Trap, actually.
Yeah, Trap does finally get the bunker, but I think at this point we should have enough Marines out. +1 is finishing up. I do feel that stim is a little bit later, Ben, than it normally is, or am I crazy?
I mean, it might be, but getting a Raven, getting the tank, getting the Banshee as well, like, maybe he just kind of delayed it. I don't want to say purposefully, but there was more important things, right? Like just making sure he survives. And we do see that Trap did invest so hard in this because he's been behind in workers for a little bit of time.
No, Trap, there's not much you can accomplish here. Really wants that one Marauder. Doesn't get it. He's going to unload the Stalker. Does finally get the Marauder. All right, but he took an absolute beating on those 4 Stalkers. And sure, they will regenerate the shields. But this also means that they're going to be a bit weaker in the straight-up fight. HeRoMaRinE finds the Observer. Yeah, this is, I don't want to say a picture-perfect game for HeRoMaRinE, but it's about as good as you could wish for. Because sure, Trap has a lot of units out, but can we take a look at the actual unit composition that he's currently working with? He must have like 12 Stalkers. And what, 16, Ben, 16 Stalkers. And what are they going to do against 27 Marines with +1 and stim? Not much, if you ask me.
Definitely not. And you got to remember, a lot of them are battered and bruised as well. They've got very low health, and that Raven can make short work. And how many tanks are there? 3 or something? This full range army of Trap, I think it's going to actually struggle to hold this off.
I think he's really going to struggle. Trap is going to need to pull off a monumental hold here, and I don't even know how that's supposed to happen. He does have a couple of sentries, so Guardian Shield is good. We're going to get an anti-armor missile on pretty much everything, and the Raven does go down. But at this point, HeRoMaRinE's army is simply a lot better than the army of Trap. And even if Trap can warp in 6-7 Zealots at a time, don't forget, these are not Zealots with +1 armor. So these Marines are going to have a field day. HeRoMaRinE picks up the Prism too. Is it happening, the Muslim?
I think it might be. That blink was really weird too, to the left side away from the army. And Gabe, he's doing it. He's destroying Trap here in game 1.
That's not just a victory, that is a dominating performance. Picture perfect by HeRoMaRinE game 1. Are you sure it's not a Monday? I'm pretty sure it's a Monday.
Move the big game weekly to Wednesday as well, guys. This was a dominating performance from the young German, and wow. He turned up, and you know, I know on his stream he's been like, oh, so many Protoss, yeah, like it's been a bad time for me, but holy crap, is it obviously paying off.
Yep, and obviously this doesn't mean that HeRoMaRinE is going to win the series. No matter how good this game 1 was, we know what Trap is capable of. But this is a 6-man round-robin group. You're going to play 5 series. Every map matters, and it is very likely that Trap will end up in one of the top 3 positions. So this is just a phenomenal start for Gabe, because just taking a map here, Ben, can already have very big consequences way down the line in this group.
Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen it in the previous groups, right? Like Solar being out by 1 map kind of thing, and Clem being safe by 1 map. It's been absolutely brutal here at Katowice, and Trap, you can see it on his face. Like, this is one of the guys that he's kind of meant to take down. I don't want to say easily in this group, because, as you said, Gabe does have the potential to beat him, and stylistically, I do still believe this isn't too bad for Gabe. But yeah, every map counts, and Gabe, he just looks hyper-focused here.
Yep. Now, I feel like Gabe was really sharp in that game, right? And it's all the little things. Like, I know some people probably like, why are Roddy and Ben making a big fuss out of the Reaper, like, you know, hopping up and down a cliff? But it's important because it's so important for Gabe to have his build order go smoothly early on, not lose a couple of SCVs, not fall behind. And because that Reaper was keeping the Adepts busy, I don't want to say the Adepts were useless, but at that point, they kind of are useless, right? They don't really contribute a whole lot anymore. Okay, and then we go into Stalkers with a War Prism. I love the super early, the preemptive almost auto turret, but you don't want to blink into an auto turret. If you ignore it, it deals a lot of damage. If you gun it down, well, it soaks up a lot of damage, right? So Gabe bought a lot of time to get the tank out. I love the backup bunker. One bunker always falls. The second one was still there. Really, everything went Gabe's way, and that's why I said at one point, can we take a look at Trap's army? He's got 16 Stalkers, Ben. Like, what are 16 Stalkers going to do against the army that Gabe had? Absolutely nothing.
I mean, it was a perfect anti-Stalker army, honestly. Like, it had better upgrades. It had, like, 3 or 4 tanks with it. Adding the Immortals to it is great and stuff, because Immortals are never bad, but when you don't have charge or anything to get on top of that army, holy crap, it was the worst situation ever for him.
He had charge. Charge was ready.
But no Zealots, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like 6 maybe warped in at the end.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. He had 1 Zealot before, and then he warped in 6 Zealots. And I guess the cherry on top was that anti-armor missile. That was also absolutely perfect, as it pretty much turned the entire army orange. That's the kind of game we see of HeRoMaRinE very often in those European Pro Tour weeklies. And, you know, this is not to be negative, but sometimes HeRoMaRinE games can be a little bit boring, right? Just because he's so damn good and efficient, he sits at home, builds up an army, walks to the other side of the map and wins. And, you know, it's not the most fun thing if he's the favorite, but if he's the underdog, it's pretty impressive to witness it.
It certainly is. Anyhow, guys, getting into map 2 here on Lightshade and spawning over in the southeast side, playing for Team Mousesports, it is HeRoMaRinE.
And in the top left side of Lightshade means that we are going to take a look at the main base of our Korean Protoss player, one of the absolute top favorites to win the entire thing. But he's down 0-1, needs to bring it back. Hailing from Korea, it is Trap.
Like, how do you feel about Trap going for something like that? Because initially I kind of liked the idea, because we both kind of thought, like, yeah, going for something parting-esque, but Gabe was totally ready for it, and it felt like Trap. I don't want to say he was too safe with it all, but very often when parting does it, I can be like, oh, he's being way too Larry, way too ballsy, but it works out, you know?
Yep. No, I do believe that you need to commit a bit harder, because the downside of opening up with 4 gateways and a robo is that Protoss goes up to 3 bases way later, right? How often don't we cast games where like, wow, Protoss goes up to 3 bases 4 minutes into the game, or even 340. This time it was a 6-minute third Nexus for Trap, which means the economy is way worse than it normally is. So you gotta be a bit more adventurous with those Stalkers. And even though that auto turret is scary, I actually do think that parting would still just blink and probably run away from it or ignore it, right? And snipe something else more important. I mean, it was a bit unfortunate for Trap. Nothing really worked out. Like the Raven got so close to being picked off twice, etc., etc. But I think you make a very valid point. I think he should have been a bit more reckless and just fully send it rather than, yeah, let's try to save my Stalkers and not get too crazy. No, you need to be crazy if your army is 16 Stalkers and you've got a bad economy.
Yeah, if you're going parting, you go full parting, you know? And yeah, he didn't do that. He was a bit too safe and a bit too cautious. Ooh, this game, we have the second barracks going up for HeRoMaRinE. So this could either be a 3 racks opening, or it's going to be the kind of Cure opening, where you get like a couple more Marines out. Oh, the 3 racks. Okay. So he's immediately going to be bringing the aggression, and a Stargate goes down for Trap. If he goes Phoenix immediately, this is just a build order deficit for the Protoss.
Yeah, if he goes Phoenix and he keeps banking the Phoenix at home, right? But I think it's very likely that Trap will go for an Oracle. I highly doubt that Trap wants to gamble and be like, alright, I'm gonna make 3 Phoenix, keep him in my main base, and hope that you Widowmine drop me again. It is possible, but I don't really see it happen. Now, Ben, I was watching your stream the other day, and you had a rather unfortunate game on Death Aura against one of my lovely young German friends, and you're like, how did I open? 3 racks? It's just not a good build. Talk to us. Why are you not that big of a fan of the 3 racks?
Okay, so I feel that the 3 racks, you kind of take the game out of your hands, because even though you can have a lot of success, it is very specifically tailored for dealing with things like Stargate. You get a lot of units very, very quickly. If your opponent doesn't see what's going on, and all of a sudden you've got like, you know, a decent squad bio at their front door, they can be in a lot of trouble. But I feel the game is a little bit out of your hands, at least opening up. And I saw that a lot from Bjorn, especially when he played against SOS in like a best of 5. I think it was from Super Tournament, or it was something recently anyhow. But every game he pretty much went for a variant of it. And it was kind of mainly decided by whether SOS went for a Stargate or not, honestly.
Well, they did play in the Super Tournament, so you could be onto something. They also played in the open bracket of this tournament already, but we'll take a look at this game as Trap is being pretty annoying with his adepts, and he's finding a lot more success with these adepts already than he did in the previous game. He lost one, but I have the feeling that Trap already knows what he's going up against. And despite the fact that this is a 3-Rex, he is not afraid to go up to 3 bases 2 minutes earlier than he did in the previous game.
Yeah, economically he's going to be in a much better situation, and here he gets to get a scout off pretty damn quickly. And Trap, if there's one unit he's super good with, it's Oracles, and so far no hull damage done, and he gets a full scout of what's going on.
This is kind of how we expected these games to play out, right? Trap just kind of getting a little lead immediately, and he will most likely be able to run away with this, because this is not pretty for Gabe. He's down 9-10 workers, his strategy has been revealed, and you can't really move out, right, without any missile turrets. You're kind of forced to at least get a missile turret up in every single middle line before you send all these bio units to the other side of the map. But if he's gonna wait for that, Ben, I have the feeling that by the time he's there, Trap should have enough units to deal with the first push.
Yeah, the real sad thing for well, HeRoMaRinE here is your army is kind of meant to be at the front door when Stim and Combat Shield finishes.
Yep.
And as we see, they've both finished, but he's still absolutely stuck in his base. His factory hasn't even finished yet. So any potential of getting medevacs on the map and stuff to like help out this army, it's ages away. And Trap feels like he's very, very ready for this. He's getting stasis wards down. I mean, his army actually isn't as good as Big Gabe's in a direct fight, but he does have a chance for a few warpins to help out.
Yeah, he's gonna get a few more weapons. What's going to be very important here for Trap is that his adepts shoot at Marines, right? You want to make sure you take a fight with a Guardian Shield. Ideally, you want to see a lot of units being caught in one of those stasis traps. But the most important thing for Trap is that the adepts shoot at Marines, because if they start shooting at Marauders, they're not going to be very effective. It seems like HeRoMaRinE doesn't really want to commit though, but that just makes things go from bad to worse, Ben. He is just bleeding out workers left, right, and center, and Trap is all over him in Game 2.
Yeah, it makes me feel that Big Gabe is going for, like he's going to wait for the first 2 medevacs to come out and join this army, as well as that +1 to finish. And is it the right move? I mean, it feels like any move he makes at this point is a bit of a wrong move, right? But I guess the nice thing is those adepts, given that he's getting Blink, they don't really get better.
Nope.
And that's definitely something that's going to be helping out HeRoMaRinE here, because the amount of splash that Trap's going to have in his army is going to be absolutely negligible, yeah.
Yeah, there is not going to be any splash. And obviously, the big downside as well is that now there's a lot more Marauders out on the field. And that means it's going to be harder and harder for those adepts to actually start shooting at Marines. And Gabe didn't throw away any bio units. I mean, this Terran army, despite the fact that this game hasn't been that pretty for HeRoMaRinE, definitely does pack a punch. Yeah, it's hard to find the right moment to really go for it. There are those first 2 medevacs. I guess this is it. Like, it's kind of now or never. It's 2 bases against 3. We need to get something done here. We're on Team HeRoMaRinE.
I actually really like his army, though, against Traps. Like, I do believe he has a chance. And there's just more Stalkers coming in, and they do have +1 upgrades and stuff, but what's actually over at this natural?
Stasis,
okay, if that stasis goes down, if it goes down, it buys him so much time, and it does!
Oh, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. You can see it in the webcam as well. HeRoMaRinE reacting. That is the last thing he wanted to see. Ends up losing one of his medevacs immediately. Trap immediately jumps on the rest of the army, grabs a Marauder and a couple of Marines. And this game is just a straight-up disaster for our German Terran player.
It certainly is, and he's got enough sentries to keep this army in as well and separated, and the Oracles join the fight as well. This is just a bad position for the German, and those force fields were clean as.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a ballsy blink.
Yeah, but he gets one more medevac. Does bleed out a couple of Stalkers, a little bit unnecessary, but look at the money that Trap is sitting on too, Ben. He can absolutely afford it, as he's going to start working his way towards Robotics Bay. Maybe get a Colossus, maybe get some Disruptors down the line. The good news, I guess, for HeRoMaRinE is that his 3rd command center is close to finishing up, but it's going to take a little while before it's actually up and running. This is a beautiful game by Trap, man. I think this is the level that everyone expected Trap to bring today.
Yeah, this is far more what I wanted to see from him. Like, the scouting, the reacting properly, just, you know, playing the player as well as, like, his own style. And I mean, this isn't super irregular, but it became so solid and so consistent that it kind of is his style now. Just everybody else emulates it and tries to do it just as good as him.
Needs to be a little bit careful here about how he wants to engage his bio force, because HeRoMaRinE does have a lot of Widow Mines. And if these Widow Mines get some good connections with the Zealots, then all of a sudden the Stalkers are going to struggle against the Marauders. I gotta say, I'm surprised that the army supplies are still this close, or even slightly in favor of HeRoMaRinE, because it feels like he's been losing units all game.
I mean, it really, really does. And I mean, like, maybe that just goes to show how good that attack timing would have been for him if he didn't get stasis entirely. These Oracles still staying alive, by the way. That is, that's very, very annoying.
I believe he picked up a couple. Oh, there's 4 Widow Mines instead of the medevac. Must be.
They gotta be, yeah.
Yeah. Especially once Colossus entered the fray, it's gonna be a bit harder for Widow Mines to be very effective in the straight-up fights. I don't know if Trap spotted it with something, but I don't think he's got a whole lot of units in position. Can we take a look at the main base real quick? Good old Mapu. Okay. Oh wow, we have so many units in position. Absolutely denied. Flawless defense by Trap. My goodness, what a game for him, Ben.
Yeah, I think he spotted it with the Observer in the middle. But I mean, still having a cannon ready and 6 Stalkers all lined up against the Nexus, that was well prepared to say the least. Oh, what a fight going on between these two, though.
Yeah, very adventurous Blink, but I think it's good enough, man. I think the Protoss army is simply way more powerful and a bit tankier than the Terran army. This wasn't the prettiest fight that Trap could have taken, but I still think it is going to be good enough. HeRoMaRinE will tap out, Trap ties things up, and as good as Game 1 was of HeRoMaRinE, I think just as good was Game 2 coming out of Trap.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it was kind of like a role reversal, right? Everything in Game 1 went pretty damn good for HeRoMaRinE early on, keeping the Reaper alive, wasting the Adept's time and such, and just being able to hold off the push. The same kind of thing just happened, but in reverse order. The Adepts got a bit more damage done this time, as did the Oracle. The scouting information was on Trap's side. And that stasis, I mean, that was a game-winning stasis, honestly. That bought so much time.
Yeah, it would have been tricky otherwise. I still think he'd be all right, though, Ben, because he did have a pretty clean early game. And Trap, even if his army doesn't look that great, like often I feel like you need Charge or you need Colossus to deal with that many bio units. Guys that are as good as Trap, they can have a little Guardian Shield and they drop a couple of decent force fields. They warp in a few more units. They've got a battery on the left side. Most of the time, they're going to be fine in those scenarios. So the stasis absolutely made his life a lot easier. But everything before that stasis was pretty much perfect coming out of our Korean Protoss.
It certainly was, certainly was. Really good play by Trap there on Lightshade. The third map of the series will be Oxide, but I might be mistaken here, but I do believe we're going to a short little break here.
Yes, Ben, you are absolutely correct. Actually.
Oh, wow.
No breaks today, guys, because the games are so short. They're like, you know what? You get 3 games in a row. I love it, Ben.
I love it too. And, you know, I'm pumped because I saw as soon as the lobby started and both the players joined, they both typed in caps, go, go, go. So, like, they both won it. They both know they've been making, like, a few errors in the games that they lost, but the games that they won, they both played as perfect as can be, I feel. So this is going to be really cool. If they both play perfect, who's going to win it out? We'll have to wait and see.
It's a big moment. This is obviously a very tough group. If you guys just joined us, Group C also has Raynor, it also has Zest, and then of course we've got Dream in the mix too, and Australia trying to make America proud today. So excited. I think we're gonna watch so many awesome games today. And let's see what happens in our very first best of 3. In the top right side of Oxide, we are taking a look at the main base of the biggest of Gabriels, hailing from Cologne, Germany. It is HeRoMaRinE.
He is certainly ready for that Tour de France afterwards. And spawning over in the bottom left-hand side of Oxide as our red Protoss, it is Trap.
I mean, if Gabe is ready for the tour tonight, I don't know what Trap is ready for, Ben.
You know, Trap's hair reminds me of, you know when Todd like went to a hair shop in China or something, and he was like, yeah, I want it like this style. And then he came out and it was like totally burnt, and he was so angry for like a year straight about his hair. It just reminds me of that, dude.
I don't know if it was about his hair, mate. I'm pretty sure that's how he wakes up. I'm kidding you and Merlo. All right, guys. Obviously a big moment here for Gabe. I think for Trap, if he would end up losing here, no man overboard, 4 best of 3s left. Like, I think he's going to be fine. I have a hard time imagining that the man who just won 3 Premier tournaments in a row is going to be eliminated in the group stage today. Even if he ends up losing the first best of 3, I wouldn't be super worried about it. Can't wait to see what happens. Gabe is going back to the Reaper. It is going to be Reaper, and you know what's interesting as well is that Beyond pretty much always builds his command center on the high ground if he sees that Protoss players like to build their gateway on the low ground, right? A little bit worried about that first adapt, making it to the other side of the map very early. Gabe is not doing that. Well, I just hope he knows how to deal with this, man.
Me too, me too. He usually goes, like, he's very systematic about this. Like, the SCV that builds the depot will be the same SCV that goes down and builds the bunker. The timing, it's pretty damn cutesy, and the Protoss always has that decision to make. If they do make it on the low ground, do they keep the first Adept at home to potentially deal with the Reaper? And I know there's that whole mini-game where it's like, okay, if they built a shield battery in their main, then it's fine and stuff, which Trap is doing here.
I think that Gabe can maybe pick up 1 probe, but then I think the Reaper needs to turn around because it really won't be able to get much more. Shield battery is close to finish. Oh, the target fire, HeRoMaRinE. Hello, you gotta pick something off then, matey.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of wasted damage. I feel like that could have been -2 probes. Instead, it's 0. And with that shield battery now completed, it's gonna stay 0.
Certainly is, certainly is. Back at home, though, Big Gabe has 2 Marines in that bunker, not just 1. So we actually went for 2 Marines before the reactor. So very, very safe against this early Adept. And is he actually going to be able to get this Adept?
Wow.
That's a damn good trade for him.
Yeah, you don't often see that. I guess that's pretty cool. Instead of building just a single Marine and going into the reactor, he built 2 Marines, and that made his life a bit easier. So even though there was a missed opportunity in the main base of Trap for sure, when it comes, you know, to the side of HeRoMaRinE, at least the defense at home was pretty good.
I mean, more than pretty good, Kev. Like, and it's got to be said, like, Trap's been going for this low-ground gateway pretty much every game of this series, right? Like, Jagannath, Lightshade, so kind of expecting that Adept to just go forward at your base and stuff. To get the second Marine and delay your reactor, I mean, that's beautiful metagaming. Like, HeRoMaRiNE's obviously evolving in this series and just learning how to play against his opponent.
That Reaper is going to be in a bit of trouble, but I do believe that Gabe already knows he's going up against Stargate, right? I think he saw that already in the beginning of the game. Yep, he's aware of it, and there is a Widow Mine. He's going double Widow Mine and Viking. So wants to make sure that whatever happened in Game 2 does not happen again, as those Oracles were going to town a little too much. That party in the Terran main base, Ben, was a little bigger than you're supposed to party these days.
Just a smidge, Kev. And I like this by Gabe as well. He's going for a 3rd CC. I think he's one of the most comfortable players at playing 3 CC.
The Widow Mine, I love that.
Where is it?
Okay, now I was actually behind the starport, but what I think is very cool is that he builds the command center next to the Widow Mine, because Protoss players like to go for SCVs that are currently building a building, right? Because those are the most annoying ones to lose as a Terran player, because then you're forcing out more APM. They need to select more SCVs to once again continue building the buildings that they were working on. So I feel like he was like, you know what, here, go for my SCV that's building my 3rd command center. And then the Widow Mine could have connected, but Trap is not falling for it. He's a smarter Protoss than I am, but I still like the idea of Gabe.
And Gabe, despite seeing the Stargate, he's like, you know what, I'm going to make a Raven, but his base is pretty darn safe. Like, he had 3 Widow Mines. Are they still in locations around his base as opposed to dropping and stuff? I think they are, right?
Yep, I'm pretty sure they are. I don't see any blue moving out on the mini-map, so... Yeah, the Raven band talked to me. Obviously, we saw a very successful Raven on Jagannatha, but whenever I see people go Raven against Phoenix openers, like I know Maru has done it, and I know that Bjorn actually likes to do it, I find it so crazy. How are you supposed to keep that thing alive?
I have no idea. I mean, these 3 Widow Mines certainly will help, though, right? And I mean, he's got quite a lot of Marines, the Viking as well, just offering a little bit of assistance. This is quite a nice scan for HeRoMaRiNE here, seeing that the Twilight Council went down when it did, and getting to see that it's, by the way, Trap has got eyes, man. Like, he's seen every Widow Mine, just the little blurs and stuff, because, I mean, having 3 Widow Mines defending, that's a lot, but he's been so damn careful about spotting them.
Yep. I also think that if you know the Terran is not doing anything, they're not moving out with Marines, or there's no medevac out on the map, you just know it's going to be very hard to deal a lot of damage in the main, but he's still going for it. And he's actually controlling this absolutely perfect, man. 1 Phoenix might go down, but no, he keeps that one alive too. Trap could not have done that any better than he actually did it. The Oracle Phoenix wombo combo, picking up a mine, a Viking, and 4 or 5 Marines. Perfect.
Super perfect. I think Big Gabe missed the mark a little bit. Like, he moved it, right? So the Viking hit the Phoenix and the Marines hit the Oracle, given that that's how they work, because the Oracle shoots down, the Phoenix shoots up. If he combined all his fire, might have been able to get a kill, but yeah, you're totally right, Kev. Like, those units from Trap are worth their weight in gold right now, and like momentum. Phoenix are all about momentum, man.
Yep, the Wing Commander is living up to his name once again. That's risky, that's so adventurous. Against a Terran that you know is not moving out, it's actually so risky to really go for it and try to find a successful trade in a Terran main base, but Trap somehow found one. I believe the Raven is sneaking in the bottom right side. Are we really just gonna suicide this Raven to drop an auto turret? I don't see how this was a good investment, Ben, but maybe he felt that Trap would only go Oracle and then wouldn't go Phoenix. Is that the reason he built the Raven?
Honestly, Kev, I've no idea. Like, if you can disrupt mining a bit or kill, I don't know, maybe 8 probes or so, I mean, it's getting more damage than I thought it would, honestly.
Yep, this is already a way more successful Raven than I thought it was going to be. As all of Trap's Stargate units were on the other side of the map. Not bad, but it obviously means it is going to go down now. But hey, maybe Gabe is going to use this moment to actually get all of his forces to the other side of the map. The Phoenix is probably going to be busy trying to pick up that Raven. Another auto turret unloads, but Trap's just going to fight this army in the center of the map. But I don't know if Trap has enough. HeRoMaRinE actually has a lot of firepower in this bio army. And a couple of SCVs are joining in the mix too. Gabe is looking mighty fine in game 3.
He's almost up 40 supply against this. That Raven actually did quite a lot of economic damage as well. The boys have been pulled, tanks, Widowmines in the fray. This is a very hard army to engage. There's 7 Widowmines with this. I don't know where they all are exactly, but where's the shield barrier as well with Trap? Big Gabe's doing it. He's pulling the probes, and they're all going to get absolutely butchered against this army.
I mean, the Widowmines did do a lot of friendly fire. Don't forget that HeRoMaRinE obviously pulled a lot of SCVs too. Trap is pulling all the boys himself, and in the end, HeRoMaRinE will temporarily disengage. But there is still way more army supply on the side of our German Terran player. 54 SCVs against 41. I believe a few more are dying. I don't even know where that happened. There aren't too many Marines here, but it may just very well be enough. Careful against the Widowmine friendly fire. Good job by HeRoMaRinE avoiding that.
Definitely. There's still like 3 Widowmines that can go off here. I know Archons are damn good, but if they take any more shots, there's still no shield battery here, Kev. The Archon's falling.
Oh
Big Gabe takes down Trap 2-1 in the opening match, and what a victory for the German.
Upset alert.